This video is about when Bob Larson lied about Danny Jones being a sinner. Key words in this video will be dikaios, which is what Hillman and Jones are, versus what appears to be hamartolo, which is old Bobby is here, that you'll see shortly. So we need to think about lying and sinning. Now, Christians believe that lies come from Satan. This is obviously a Christian organization. You can see 10 truths about a liar, and you got Satan. So the source of lying and deception, according to Christians like Bob Larson, as you all know who are listening, is Satan. Now, scientifically speaking, the way lying works is the brain adapts to dishonesty, which you can easily look up this article if you wish. You can see here the slippery slope scenario. So I'm just saying here, what Satan would be saying in terms of the way Christians view the thing is that you become stained with my lies if you tell my lies long enough. So I will show you now how Bob Larson lied to Danny Jones about the nature of a sinner. So I start right here in 205. I just went down here so it's easier to see. So Danny Jones, so dikaios, Danny Jones. Do I have to go to confession, or do I confess my sin, or do I have to confess my sins to anybody? So Larson responds, just to God, just to God, here and now. You know what they are. So what does Danny say? I confess my sins on every podcast. I don't hide anything. Now, of course, Bob Larson never met Danny Jones before, other than interacting before he came on the show. So how could Bob Larson know anything about Danny Jones? He couldn't. So he makes the assumption that all Christians make, and here it is. Of course you have sins. Your first sin is rejecting Christ. Now, is that a sin according to Jesus himself? And the answer is no. No, no, no. It is not a sin according to Jesus himself. Where did that foolishness come from? It came from about 1350. So you can see here, online etymology dictionary. So there was a redefining of a sinner in 1350 BC. You can see here, one who breaks the divine law, one who offends God, 1350, also a non-Christian. So this is the lie that Christians have been telling since 1350. It does not say that in the Bible, not even close. So I'll show you the exact words in the Bible for sinner versus one who is not a sinner in a moment. And I got those definitions from the online lexicon. So we'll go there now and we'll see. But no matter how we look at it, Bob promotes the human made-up meaning of sinner and does not know what a true sinner is. Now you know what team Bob is on. He's been saying this his whole life. Stained according to his book. Stained with lies according to his book. So we're going to look at the Greek words because those are the words that the original New Testament was written in. And I will be going to Perseus Greek Word Study Tool, which is the online, freely available LSJ lexicon. You can see the Greek English lexicon. So biblical studies, as well as classicists. So I got these definitions from the LSJ. Okay, so this is Jesus responding to the elders in Luke 5 when he was asked, or when his disciples were asked, why does your teacher eat, drink, as in party and imbibe alcohol, with hamartolo, is what the word was. And Jesus says, I have not come to call the dikaios, that are defined as righteous here in the interlinear. I came for the sinners. So we need to look at what these words mean. Dikaios does not mean righteous per se. It means well-ordered, civilized, moral. A moral citizen, a civilized moral person is what a dikaios is. Not like righteous in the religious sense. These words are used in the societal sense. So what is an hamartolo? So you can see this is from the LSJ, the Greek Word Study Tool, barbarism. So someone who participates in barbarism is an uncivilized, amoral, especially wicked, stained individual with certain definite vices or crimes. That is what a sinner is, according to Jesus. You can see that Bob Larson has no idea what a sinner actually is. So let's look at some of the biggest sinners there are who Jesus obviously came for. Here they are, right here. Baptist Church, Catholic Church, child abuse. They are the promoters of the lie of original sin. I've already shown a video about the lie of original sin. If there was original sin, then Jesus would never have said that there were dikaios that he did not come for. He came for the stained hamartolo, the stained sinners. You know, Bob's friends, Bob's buddies. Now, this is kind of disgusting, right? So Bob is telling us his whole life, right? Bob has lived by this lie. Your first sin, Danny Jones, is rejecting Christ. And Jesus tells us right here that he did not come for the dikaios. He came for those who are stained with crimes and vices. So this is a hamartolos lie that Bob has been stained with. Obviously, he's been saying it for years and years and years. What I don't understand about Bob and his fellow pastors and all these Christians is why can they simply not do what Jesus said to do? As opposed to that, they promote this lie, they promote guilt, and the guilt is what feeds the sinners, the true sinners, the hamartolo, their ready supply of victims. Disgusting. So why can't Bob, as I was just saying before, why can't Bob and the rest of these clowns do what Jesus said in the English translation of the Bible, which is simply this? Why can they not come under the yoke of Jesus? I do not understand this at all. But it's just the way it is, unfortunately, for these guys. So the interesting thing about Bob during this whole scenario of this video was what he said about Shiva. Now, if we go back here for a second, you can see here, this is obviously a lie. I modified this, obviously a lie. Made up, right? So this is ignorance and nonsensical speech. That is what Bob Larson is manifesting here. Ignorance and nonsensical speech. Now he invoked Shiva, which I'll do another video about Shiva a little bit later in the future, after this date. So he doesn't know what Shiva is at all. Now, interestingly, this is Shiva as Nataraja doing the Lord of the dance. And so if you look down here, Shiva is actually dancing on a demon. Shiva is, in the Hindu mythology, he is the creator, destroyer, and preserver of the world. And when he's Nataraja, he is dancing on the demon of ignorance, manifested as ignorance and nonsensical speech. Isn't that interesting that Bob Larson is a manifestation of Apasmara?